Central Newfoundland's classic rock. It is 101.3, 102.3 K-Rock. Tom Petty right there. 7:48 in the morning. And all you Hulkamaniacs, get ready, because Hulkamania is going to be running wild when the CWI East Coast Invasion Tour rolls through Grand Falls, Windsor, August 19th at the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium with a huge bill of superstars. You know it's going to be the ultimate wrestling experience. And yes, Hulkamaniacs, it's true. The legendary Hulk Hogan's going to be there. And on the rock line with me this morning to further prove this, I'm joined by one of my childhood idols with the 24-inch pythons, none other than the immortal Mr. Hulk Hogan. Good morning.
What's up, Matt Paney? What are you doing up so early?
Well,
crazy brother.
I get up at 4:30 every morning to do this morning show, and I know it was your birthday last night. By the way, happy belated birthday. You must be feeling it today.
Yeah, it was a rough day. You know, we started early down here in Miami, South Beach, and I guess it's about 6:15 in the morning here, but after I talk to you, I think I'm going to go to sleep.
I would imagine you need to catch up on that. You've definitely got a busy schedule coming up now. I gotta start off by asking, the CWI is gaining so much ground. You got to tell me now how this union happened between you and the CWI.
Well, you know, it's kind of crazy because I don't do independent shows. You know, I've always worked for, you know, the WWE or WCW or different organizations like that, Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and
right.
buddy of mine, Brutus Beefcake, says, hey man, you need to check out this thing going on up here in Canada. So I did a little due diligence in my homework, and I saw, you know, that a lot of the guys I had worked with and a lot of young guys that really had their act together were doing this thing in CWI. So I started talking to Nick Nitro, the kid that put this whole thing together.
Right.
And, you know, I made my first appearance up there in Brantford, Ontario. We had a good time. And the thing was, you know, it was wrestling how it should be.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It reminded me of the TNA stuff we're doing in the States. And these guys went out and worked their butts off. The crowd was into it. So, you know, I said, bro, you know, I'm kind of like in the crossroads right now, really digging in at TNA and really making it happen. But, you know, there might be a little synergy here. So,
right.
You know, I mean, I did the show and I had a great time.
Yeah, and
I told the TNA people about it, and they were all excited. Like Steiner's on the card and a couple other people. And so I'm coming your way.
It's going to be huge. I mean, there's so many huge superstars coming with you. I mean, it must be great hitting the road with all these legends that you've worked with throughout your career, kind of coming together for this smaller promotion.
Well, yeah, it's a smaller promotion right now, brother, but the CWI thing is
it's
really
going to get big
up there. And, you know, I'm not wrestling there.
Oh, okay, right on.
It's beyond that, but I'm making an appearance, you know, probably jump in the ring, could rip some shirts, could do some posing down, you know.
Right on.
Really looking forward to seeing all the people and talking with them. It's going to be a huge event, you know. It's going to be huge.
And it must be like a really intimate experience with the fans, because, I mean, yeah, it is going to grow and grow and grow, and we're seeing it grow. I mean, it's going across Canada right now, and, I mean, it must be a really intimate experience with the fans, with these sort of, I'll say smaller audience, but it's not even really that small of an audience, you know what I mean?
Like, I guarantee you that place is going to be packed to the rafters.
Oh, yeah.
And it's electric, man. It's an electric atmosphere, and I haven't been in your neck of the woods for so long, and the people were so supportive, and even through the last 25 years, through thick and thin, no matter how good it was or how bad it got, the fans were there, brother. They are so loyal. It's unreal. So I'm looking forward to coming up there. You know, I got myself back in really good shape. I can't wait to see the fans and interact with them. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that. I was looking actually on your Twitter there the other day, and I noticed you posted a picture of the scars that were on your back 6 months ago. How's everything going now with getting back into shape?
Well, you know, that was back surgery number 8.
Wow.
You know, and they started cutting on me in February of 2009, and they made some serious mistakes. And they cut so much bone away that my spine collapsed, and I had to rebuild my whole spine. I just fell over like a bowl of Jell-O.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, everything's good now. That's the old "so what, woe is me" story. That story's over, but it's what now. I'm in shape.
Yeah.
Doing my thing. You know, I'm having a little problem with Sting and TNA, which I might have to rectify. But everything's cool, bro.
Right on. So now, as most of us know, you're a part of TNA Impact. And tell us what's going on now with TNA Impact and what the future holds, because, again, that's another thing that is getting huge. And I hear you guys are going to be out on the road and stuff a lot more now.
Yeah, well, things are starting to move. You know, it's been about a year and a half since I've been there. And there was a plan, to take this company that was full of talent and really groom these guys so that they became, superstar wrestlers. They became just not a bunch of guys running around the ring, jumping around like acrobats,
Right.
To really get in and dig and fight and tell a story, because that's what you got to do. People are interested in what guys are all about. Why did the bad guy do that to the good guy? And people watch the WWE. Camera shots will stay on someone's face for 20 seconds as they stare down at each other, and basically they're over the top, and they really have it dialed in with their production. And it's taken me this long, to calm all the testosterone down and all the energy there, to where these guys realize, we're so good, we just need to dial in a few of the other, finer points of the wrestling business, and a lot of it has to do with, their in-ring stuff and making sure that the audience understands why they're doing what they're doing. But we're getting there. The numbers are coming up, other companies' numbers are flatlined, and they might be coming down a little bit, but, things are really good. We're getting the network behind the Spike TV with the marketing and the big push, and it looks like, we're rounding second base here.
Right. And I was going to mention to you, too, like, I know everybody, when they think back to things with WWE, we hear a lot about the things that go on backstage and everything like that, but it seems, I know obviously there is some politics involved with TNA Impact, but it seems like everybody gets along a little bit more like a family there. Would you say that's true?
Well, the WWE was great to me. I mean, I had a lot of great years there. I got to be grateful for every moment I had with Vince McMahon, because he was a huge reason, that I am who I am today. So I will never, look back at that and think about anything negatively. But, there seems to be a lot of camaraderie here in the TNA roster. There seems to be a lot of these guys are doing the wrestling. Of course, they're making money, but it's almost like they're doing it because it's from their heart, And there's a certain energy here with these guys that I haven't felt anywhere else. So I'm really excited about the direction, the attitude the guys have.
Right, yeah, and you can really tell when they get out there that they're really doing something that they love. Now moving back to the CWI, the response since this announcement has been incredible. Fans are so excited to have such a huge bill coming through our small town. Nothing this big has really come through our neck of the woods. It's all anybody's been talking about. Now, I got to get back to, what's your favorite thing about doing these tours?
Well, like I said, I don't have a bunch of favorite things about doing the tours, because I don't do independent shows, and the only one I've ever done has been with CWI.
Right.
I did one night, and after I did it, I said, my God, this is incredible. This is fun, just to get back out there, focus on, being in the locker room and helping the guys in the back get ready and do their thing, and making sure everything's dialed in and perfect, and just to see the fans that I haven't seen for so many years, and just to get back out. I mean, it's really cool to have an opportunity to get on this little CWI tour and go around and see all the fans that have stuck with me. It's incredible, brother. I get so much energy. I come home, I go, oh my God, I feel like I'm 20 years old again. It's really cool.
That's great, yeah, and I know that it's going to be absolutely fantastic when you come on through our neck of the woods. You got a couple of dates here, and again, it's all anybody's ever been talking about. We sent out the message the other day on our Facebook that you were going to be chatting on the Rock Line, and we actually have a fan question here if you have a moment for it.
Sure, brother.
It's completely nothing to do with any of the stuff going on here now. It's kind of an old school question here. Darren Mills asks, which match was harder for you, Stan Hansen in Japan or Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3? I don't think they're really comparable, but what one do you think was a harder match?
Well, the harder match was Stan Hansen, there's no doubt.
Right.
He used to be my partner in Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling New Japan.
Right.
And Stan didn't like getting beat, and he was stiff in the ring, and he had a huge reputation of actually going through the crowd and beating all the fans up.
Oh, wow.
You could do back in the day in the late 70s. You could come out of the locker room, instead of going down the aisle, you could walk through the crowd, and he had a big bull rope with a cowbell, and he'd swing it. And it finally got to the point where the Japanese promoter and the people didn't want to put up with it anymore. But Stan had a real nasty attitude, and I was his partner, and they decided they wanted us to wrestle each other. He was not happy about it. So,
oh wow,
I'll remember that night for a long time.
Yeah, and we all remember the end of that match. I was actually watching it earlier, and I remember watching that years and years ago. Really, really intense match, I've got to say. And this morning, we're talking all about like childhood cartoons and things like that. And you know what? Honestly, I remember growing up, I was a huge fan of the cartoon that was on the go for a little while, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. That was fun to make, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a huge boost for wrestling. I mean, we were on CBS for 6 years with that cartoon, and what it did is it made the wrestlers superheroes. It made us larger than life. So Hulk Hogan was on the cartoon, and I had an elephant on my shoulder, and I was, washing his armpits. The kids thought I could really pick an elephant up, and so I mean, it was a monster tool which really helped push the merchandise and just make it more of a mainstream, not a wrestling zone, but it entwined us with a society worldwide, America, Canada, all overseas. It just made us part of their culture. That cartoon was
totally
a great vehicle.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I grew up watching it. I was always a huge fan, and you're right. It really did make them seem like superheroes more so than anything, and that's one of the great things that I remember about growing up with wrestling. But I mean, stepping aside now from wrestling, outside wrestling, is there anything else that you've got kind of planned, that something that you might do in your spare time that you want to continue to do or pursue? Any maybe hobbies that you have on the go?
Well, you probably don't remember a kid named Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years.
Right.
He's a child actor.
Yeah.
Jason and Eric Bischoff and I, we've got a little production company. We produce reality TV, and we've got a new show coming on True TV 14th of September called Hulk Hogan's Micro Championship Wrestling.
Nice.
And it's with small people, and instead of taking the jackass approach to it, like Johnny Knoxville, we decided to tell the real-life story of little people with normal-sized wives and normal-sized kids and normal problems and financial problems and going through divorces and the kids getting older and they won't listen, and just take a real good look at how hard it is just every day for them to reach up and open a doorknob or sit at a table and try to lean over to get their plate with a fork too big. So we've got that show coming out. We finished it, and got a couple other little things going, but I'm also dealing with a company called Visalis, and we've got something called Hulk Hogan's Challenge. It's about people getting fit and getting in shape, and there's a huge business opportunity, so I'm staying busy, brother.
Right, yeah, and that's good. It's good to hear that you're into so much, and I absolutely can't wait. And I speak for the complete K-Rock Nation out there, our audience, when I say that we're extremely excited for this. We don't need any convincing now, but just to set this in stone, just tell us once that Hulkamania is going to run wild in Grand Falls, Windsor.
Let me tell you something. You don't realize that when Hulk Hogan comes to Grand Falls, it's going to run so wild, it's going to make hair grow on people's heads. I hope mine. It's going to make the women jump up and kiss the person next to them. It's going to be so crazy because what you're going to do when Hulkamania runs wild on you, brother.
Oh, my goodness. You have just made my life. Mr. Hulk Hogan, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us this morning. I know you got to go do a couple other ones. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you down at the show, and I'm sure I speak for everyone out there when I say that it's going to be one electrifying show.
Yo, big dog, thank you. You're awesome, man. I can't wait to see you.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for this.
Okay, brother.
Take it easy.
Fruit. See ya.
See ya. It's 8:01 now on K-Rock. Checking